course I do. All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 65. I'm Nate, your host, the Fit Future MD. Be sure to shop at intercell.com, pick you up a cool, inspirational t-shirt today. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with somebody that needs it. I would really appreciate your support. All right, so I'm on the handy dandy TikTok this morning. And of course, some lady comes up and is trying to explain how the economy works using Monopoly. I just happen to be a really, really good Monopoly player. But she basically was breaking it down as what stage, if we were in Monopoly, what stage of Monopoly we would be in. And she basically says we are in the late stage Monopoly, right? Where all the big assets are basically bought up, and we're just people running around the board collecting the $200 and paying rent, right? With no real chance to win the game. Now, unfortunately, I disagree with this lady, right? So America, the United States of America, has the most first generation millionaires of any other country, by far, hands down, right? It has never been easier to start a business in the United States of America, right? For less than $1,000, you can start your business in America and be making money today, right? We've never been in a time where you can get enough attention and put that attention towards a product and become a millionaire, a billionaire instantly, right? So we've never been at that time before, right? It used to be $300, $400, $500,000 to start a business minimum, right? So if you go back to looking at the old school way of starting a business, where you had to have a location, you had to have employees, you had to have all this other stuff. We don't have to have that anymore, right? You can have AI assistants and all kinds of stuff do things for you when you start a business. So you can become the person pretty quickly that owns all that stuff, right? Now, I will say this. There are people, you sit down and play with Monopoly with people, it's very clear that people don't know how to play the game of Monopoly, right? And that's what is actually happening in real life as well, right? 60% of people don't even own a stock, right? We have a stock market where you can choose to own the corporations, the people that own the hotels on the Monopoly board. You can invest your money in those corporations, and those corporations will pay you to be an investor in those companies, right? And so that is, if you're a regular person, you're not going to start a business. You're just going to work your 9 to 5 job, or for me, 7 to 3:30 job. You know, right now you can still, even doing that, the system is set up where you can still be a millionaire, right? The system is actually set up where, so if you make $3 million in your lifetime, you can retire with $3 million to live on for 40 years, right? That's how the system's set up. So we'll talk about that, how the system is set up. The system is set up where you get a little money, you buy an asset, you use that money from the asset to buy more assets until you have enough where you can flex your assets on everybody else, right? So that's kind of how it works, right? So now, when I started investing in silver coins to be exact. Silver at the time was in the $20 range, right? So for less than $20, I could buy a piece of silver. Silver's worth $50 or more now, right? So even when I was a person making $11 an hour, I could still take $20 and have an asset, right? Now, silver's $50 now, so you're gonna have to come up with a little bit more money, but that's just the minimum, right? And then you can do the same thing. So when I first got Robinhood, first got interested in investing, like, oh, okay, I learned this in Monopoly, like, hey, you have to invest in things, right? You can't just go around the board collecting your $200. So, of course, what do? I look into investing in stock market. Well, I get this, I get Robinhood, right, for the first time. And the first thing Robinhood does is give me a free stock, right? And it gives me a bunch of free stocks for sending Robinhood to everybody else. Like, basically, that's how they were marketing. But I ended up with this stock called Plug Power, right? Plug Power was worth $2, right? So Robinhood gave me that stock. It was worth $2. That stock ran to $27, right? And so that's the power of appreciating assets, right? And of course, it's not up there anymore. But basically, if you had taken that $1,000, if you'd taken $1,000 and put it into Plug Power at that time, a year later, it would have been worth $27,000, right? Or roughly $2, $25,000, right? And say, if you can do that once, you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. So that's what this economy is basically, this is how the economy works, right? But people don't understand that. People don't understand that you're going around the monopoly board not buying anything when you have to buy assets in this economy, right? You can't sit down here and make a little bit of money and not take your money and do something with it, right? You're literally going to be in the cycle. And so that's what people are in. They're in the cycle of debt, right? They got $750 a month car payments, right? They're, obviously housing's very expensive now, right? So you purchase a house, you're paying double what you would have been paying 5 years ago, right? And the people that did buy houses, guess what? Their houses are all worth double, right? So, and guess what? It's going to do it again. It's going to do it again, right? So people think, oh, it's going to crash out. No, when they lower interest rates, the price of housing is going to go up again, go up more, right? Once inflation hits, it doesn't go away unless you get a depression, basically. So when inflation went up in the 80s, it never went back down. You have grandparents that used to say, I'll never pay $1 for a gallon of gasoline. Now we're paying $3 for a gallon of gasoline, right? So assets go up in value because of how the system is set up. So when you realize that, like, oh, okay, well, I made, I don't know, just say $800 this week. So I made $800 this week. If I take 100 of it and I invest it, 5 years from now, that 100 is going to be worth 1,000, right? Minimum. So really, I made an extra week's pay off that 1 week paycheck. Now imagine if I do that 52 weeks a year, $5,200, right? So then that 52, so that 1 year, your 5,200 is worth 52,000. A year later, it's worth 500,000, right? It won't be worth 500,000. Maybe it's worth 100, 150. 5 years, it's worth 500,000. That's what I'm saying. You can find those assets that are like that. So this is all I'm saying to you. And this is, then if you need help setting stuff like this up so you can do this, hit me up for life coaching. I'm worth every penny. And if I don't improve your situation, I'll give you your money back. So keep that in mind. You get your money, you buy assets, you let your assets pay for more assets until you have enough money to flex and be financially free. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, what stage of Monopoly we're in, and how you would go about winning the game of Monopoly, right? This episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo, which is my wife's children's book. Be sure to shop on Amazon for London and the Googly Goo if you have nieces, nephews, or children of your own. And there's a special thing coming up very soon, so be sure to tune in for that. All right, so speaking of the people winning Monopoly, I'm going to talk about Elon Musk, right? So the headline reads, Elon Musk wants to block out the sun to curb global warming. The scientists warn the controversial technique could be disastrous. So basically, what does Elon want to do? Elon wants to put solar arrays out into space. Guess what the Chinese are doing? That's the Chinese plan too, man. But they're going to put their solar arrays out in space. Guess what happens in space? You get a lot more sun. You get sun 24 hours a day, etc. And can you take that energy and point it towards Earth and have unlimited solar energy, basically? But the more solar energy you capture, the less gets to the surface of the planet, which is why scientists say that could be disastrous. Because if you take what's supposed to hit Earth and basically block out the sun, you basically have the power to end life as we know it, right? So, number one, if you have something that's powerful like this, you have to have a committee of people that cannot be bought, right, and paid for, that can put aside their personal interests of country, place, because you're talking about the entire planet being affected, right? You have to have someone that has a morale or morality clause. Like, to me, that's one of the negatives of Elon, is that Elon is willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. He's willing to fire good people. He's willing to blow up rockets, you know, as an examples. But he's also a person that warns of the dangers of AI, stuff like that. So you might have him on a panel that's in control of this stuff, but you're not going to have him solely in control of something like that, right? And no singular country should be in control of something like that either. Like, because you basically could say, nah, you know what? We're just going to block out your sun and all your stuff's going to die, right? So let's say we've already seen that, or people think already that the government is having weather manipulations and stuff like that, targeting specific areas so that they can go in and buy up those areas and make a lot of money, stuff like that. So the conspiracy theories, but they've all turned out to be true so far. So is it really a conspiracy if it's all true? I don't know. But basically, let me know in the comments what you think about putting solar arrays in space, blocking the sun out from the Earth, and using that to keep the Earth from becoming too warm, right? And we'll move on to the next one. All right, live coaching today, we got Briana. Briana's 32 years old, and she works as a healthcare administrator. She says, quote, "Hey, I don't really know how to say this without sounding stuck up or dramatic, but I feel like I'm outgrowing the people around me. I've been working on myself for the last year, healing childhood stuff, getting healthier, trying to get my finances together, working on my mindset. And I feel like I'm actually making progress, and I'm proud of that. But the people in my life haven't changed at all. The conversations are the same, the complaints are the same, the habits are the same. When I talk about my goals or things I'm excited about, they just kind of shrug it off. Some make jokes like, oh, look at you now, Miss Motivational Speaker. Miss Motivational Speaker. I don't want to cut everybody off, these people I've known my whole life, but I also don't want to shrink back into where I fit in there. How do you keep growing when people around you aren't growing with you, is the question. And how do I do that without feeling like I'm abandoning them or becoming someone I'm not? So basically, it's like once the light switches on in your head, you have to make a choice. All right. And the choice is, do you continue to do what you know is right, or do you stay with the people that are just stagnant and not really do anything? And my answer here is to limit your exposure, right? So if you are seeing them once a week, twice a week, you're going to decrease that exposure to once a month, right? And they're going to continue to see you become more successful in your life. And honestly, that's what I've had to do to people for a long, long time, right? Like, I was meant for something bigger, and they were not. And, I've had to do this to people time and time again, even people that were successful, they stagnated, at some point, and you had to leave them behind too. But at the same time, you have to realize why you're doing stuff, right? So for me, I'm doing stuff to help people like the person that I was, right? I was this person that had high potential, high rate of success, naturally gifted in a lot of things, but didn't have a direction to put that energy. Didn't have the guidance, right? We all went to college. We all were successful in college, graduated, but we graduated in debt. We shouldn't even have been there. Um, and so, when we overcome that debt and are financially free, you know, your life changes, right? So everything is mindset, skill set, and habits. So you basically don't have the skill set yet to convince people to do what you're doing, right? Or you've improved, but you haven't improved enough for somebody to say, "Oh, well, I want to be like you," right? So keep that in mind. You keep growing by limiting your exposure, and you don't abandon them because you're limiting the exposure, not completely cutting it off, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, how you feel about this. If you're making a bunch of progress and you got people basically holding you back or making fun of your progress, if you're making fun of your progress, they're really not your friends anyway. And you probably just call them out on it. Like, why are you making fun of my progress, bro? Like, why wouldn't you want me to be successful? You know, but all right. And the last thing we're going to go on to is the quote of the day. And it says, "You become what you think about." And that's Earl Nightingale, right? And so everything starts with mindset and what you want to be, right? If you want to be somebody that is healthy and shape, lives a long life, lives a prosperous life, has the boat, has the jet ski, has the beach house, whatever your life is about. Also, if you go into religious stuff there, obviously, but you become what you think about. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about how bad things are all day, your life is going to be bad. If you sit there and think about how good you can make your life be, your life is going to be good, right? So start with mindset, and start with affirmations to fix your mindset if you have this problem. If you don't have affirmations, you can pick mine up in the description for free. They're 100% free. I don't even take your name for it because mindset is so important, right? So keep that in mind. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you need help setting up your mindset, hit me up in the DM for life coaching or sign up directly in the link in the description. Shop at InstaCell.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt, buy my wife's book, London and the Googly Goo. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.